Okay, this is New Air Gardener. I'm starting all over. I didn't hit record, so this is one of my bins that is ready to be harvested, and it's not dry. It's a good consistency, nice fluffy. This particular bin, when I set it up, I also added biochar, homemade biochar that I make. I used the flakes, small flakes, just another way of activating the biochar that I do sell. Biochar, regular and activated. And in the future, I'll do some videos on the biochar. I just made some biochar this evening. We have snow, it's snowing out, so it was perfect time to do it. Because in the beginning, before it ignites, accelerates, you get a lot of smoke. When the gases start to burn off, then you get a nice flame. I'll post a picture of that. And so I'm going to adjust the camera, and I'm going to show you how I sift. This product is good, broken down real well. I go by the 3 months that I give it, and also if the papers and the cardboard is also been devoured by them and broken down. So I'm going to adjust the camera, and I'm going to show you how I sift my product. Alright, thanks. I have an old Rubbermaid container. I put it on here. I also have another container that I use. I'm going to just adjust it so you can see what I'm doing. So give the spoonfuls of the castings. And this has a rail, so it rides along the body sifter. And then I just sift it. Worms come out like that. Has a lot of biochar in it. Of course, you're going to get worms that go through it also. And I do that a couple of times. Move this a little bit. I don't want to drop my fellas. Plenty of worms. A lot of worms. Nice worms. Just knock them off. And then this one, I just pull the bucket. This one I'm going to put in a different one. Sort those worms out also. That's what the product looks like. Sift it. That's worm casting compost. So that's some real good looking stuff. I do sell this on eBay. I do use it in my own bins, plants, and just gonna put it in a bucket down here. So that's pretty much what I do, and probably blocking the view a little, but I don't go crazy and do it all hard. I just try to get the worms and separate it. But this is some real good stuff. Full of worms. And the biochar. You can hear the biochar coming down. And once again, just hold it, sift it. Sift it. A lot of worms in there too. So just gonna empty it. Makes it easier, makes it lighter. But, you know, there's all different ways to sift worms. Some people sift them as I do. Some people put bait boxes. Some people put it in 3 or 4 piles. Well, put it in 3 or 4 piles, and let the worms go down, and then they separate the product. Just going to pick up the rest of this. That wasn't good. I'm just gonna pour this remainder in. There is some debris on the bottom. It is rather dry. I think the biochar also helped to keep the bin dry, which is a plus. So so that's pretty much how I do it, and that works out very well for me. Now, when I build my bin, when I build the bin back and put their bedding in, I got about a half a bucket out of that worm castings. So it's a good amount, you know. So that's not bad. I do it about 6 inches up, and that's how I do it. These are all the worms. I mean, this thing, those are all worms. Those are all worms mixed into biochar. Excuse me. So I'm gonna leave them, let them have their little time alone, and I usually do my bedding ahead of time. I like to let it mature, sit for a while. It's not wet, there's nothing, it's not overly damp. If I squeeze hard, you might see a drop or two come out, but depending on the time frame that I made this, now I got 2 more buckets over there, knowing that I have 2 more bins that are 1024 that need to be changed now. So I'll do it ahead of time, and sometimes it might sit for 2 months. But what I do is, if it's gonna sit for 2 months, I put it in my big mixing bin that I make this up in, and I mix it around so it doesn't get foul or anything like that, you know, any moisture, any clumps. That's pretty much, you probably can't see now, so I'm going to change the camera around. And I'm just adding the bedding. And what I always try to do is not just pour it in there. I try to put it in there so that any loose, I can loosen it up, make it airy. I mean, I have good success with the amount of paper and cardboard I have in there. You know, so it's probably going to be about 6 inches right there. It's about 6 inches right there. But I'm going to add just a little bit more. Just because there are a lot of worms in there. So I don't feed them. What I do is I don't feed them for probably about a week. But usually what I do is I put either some rabbit manure or some goat manure in there just to give them something to chomp down on. And I'm going to use the goat. And I put like about a handful in there. I don't have a lot of rabbit manure, so I'm not going to use the rabbit manure. Just going to wet it a little bit, give it a little bit of moisture so it's not so hard on them. And that'll just keep them munching on something as they get acclimated to the bin, the new bin. So, and that's good. Now, I'm not going to put that biochar back in. I'm going to wait and separate it all out when I'm done with everything, based on the amount of worms I have there, and then the amount of worms that are in here. Just move some of this off. If I just grab, I mean, there's a lot of worms in there. I'm gonna say I probably have, and they're nice sized worms. You know, they're not too many baby worms in there. Adolescents, but no babies. So that's good. Nice mature bin, and that's all I'm gonna do right now. But my bedding is cardboard, newspaper, white paper. It also has oh man, I can't think of it now. Compost, has compost, aged compost in there that I make myself. That's in there, and also coconut coir. So the base is pretty much coconut coir, and I got a little container, coffee container, and I put two containers of aged compost in there, and that also, when I sit it there, that also helps to get the activity going in the bin, you know, and that's why, if you notice, even with the I'm covering it, I mean, I don't know if you can tell, but you really can't tell that there's really coconut coir in there. It looks, it's black. It's dark already, and that's from aging it a little bit. You know, a month, 2 months. You know, that's what I do, and that's pretty much it. I'm going to clean the worms up. I'm going to weigh the worms after I go through. Because of the biochar in there, it's going to be a little more tedious to take and separate the worms from it. I use a brush like this. I get all the big stuff with my fingers and with a old credit card, expired credit card, pull the stuff off. Then I use this, not this particular one, but another one I have, and I just sweep off all the debris, and then I get down to the worms. I try to clean it as good as I can. I'm not worried about it. It's going back in my bin, and then it's good from there. As far as the biochar, that is nuggets. It's good to use the nuggets in there. In this one, I used the powder, and I put the powder in here. So when I mixed it up, I put the powder in there, and I did it that way. So there is biochar in there. So the biochar will get active with the bacteria and the microbes in there. Those small particles will get active. The big stuff is good in there. It does a good job of keeping the moisture in check, which is nice. Sometimes you get the bottom of your bin and it could be a little wet because all the leachate, if you want to call it, their urine goes down to the bottom. Gravity brings it down to the bottom. So it could be a little moisture on the bottom as you get to the bottom. But that biochar kept that in check. I am going to use this biochar, and I'm going to say it's already activated, but I will activate it again, just the biochar with nothing. And then what I'm going to take and do, depending on what I have, I'm going to do 2 parts, 3 parts, worm castings. And so if I have 1 coffee can full of biochar from these 2 that I have here, then that's 1 part. So I'm going to put 1 part of the biochar and 2 to 3 parts worm castings. And I'm going to activate the biochar a little bit more. Excuse me. A little bit more. And I may use that in my wife's plants. I may use it in my plants for the summer coming up. So it'll also mature for the next 3 months before I can get to gardening. Or it'll be a good additive for somebody else. So I may go ahead and put it together, put it on eBay. Someone else might be looking for something like that. Excuse me. And that's going to be it. Thank you for watching. New Era Gardener. Thanks.